Trying to reconnect. Oh, hello. How's everybody tonight? Lisa Marie here, and I'm excited for tonight. I started this book last week. Well, I've started this book many times and have finished it. But I did start this book last week with chapter 1. I'm going to redo it because I did it live on YouTube and it didn't really turn out. So I'm just going to redo it, and I'm going to do it here until I get my YouTube channel figured out. I do have many videos on my YouTube channel, and I would love if you could pop over there one day and just check it out. Lisa Marie Cook, that's all you need to know. I've been doing live videos for a while. I did not realize I had 200 videos, and I don't know if that's all of them or not. One day I'll have to go through those, but I was hoping people would pop on here. They can watch the replay. That is completely fine, but I am going to start and do this book from beginning to end, one chapter each Tuesday night. I will be doing it, and I'm just going to read the chapter to you, and then I am going to give you my interpretations and what I have learned from my mentors. I've got a slight disadvantage here because Robert Hollis studies this book, and we just got through with a fantastic master's mind in our inner circle. So that was phenomenal, and lots more coming to the inner circle. If you guys have not checked that out, check out Robert Hollis on YouTube and check out his inner circle. I know the link, but I can't think of it right now because I got this book on my mind. So I'm just going to get going here. I'm going to start with the preface because Wallace Wattles, this book was written in 1910, just after the turn of the century. And I don't know if you are aware of this, but anybody can get a copy of this book online. And if you do not have your own, just reach out to me. I will give you a copy. I will send it as a PDF or as a Google Drive link so you can keep it, download it, do whatever you wish to it. But I want to read the preface this time because Wallace sets us up here with suggestions on how we should go into reading this book. Okay, now something I do want to say about the book, it is not a book that can be read just once. If you read it once and you put it down and you don't pick it up again, I can guarantee you do not have the principles of this book. Okay, so here we go. This book is pragmatical, not philosophical. A practical manual, not a treatise upon theories. It is intended for the men and women whose most pressing need is for money, who wish to get rich first and philosophize afterwards. It is for those who have so far neither found the time, the means, nor the opportunity to go deeply into the study of metaphysics, but who want results and who are willing to take the conclusions of science as a basis for action. It is expected that the reader will take the fundamental statements upon faith, just as he would take statements concerning a law of electricity, a law of electrical action if they were promulgated by a Marconi or an Edison, and taking the statements upon faith that he will prove their truth by acting upon them without fear or hesitation. Every man or woman who does this with certainty get rich. For the science herein applies is an exact science, and failure is impossible. For the benefit, however, of those who wish to investigate philosophical theories and so secure a logical basis for faith, I will here cite certain authorities. The monistic theory of the universe the theory that one is all and that all is one, that one substance manifests itself as the seeming many elements of the material world, is of Hindu origin and has been gradually winning its way into the thought of the Western world for 200 years. It is the foundation of all the Oriental philosophies and of those of Descartes, Spinoza, Leibniz, Schopenhauer, Hegel, and Emerson. The reader who would dig to the philosophical foundations of this is advised to read Hegel and Emerson for himself. In writing this book, I have sacrificed all other considerations to plainness and simplicity of style, so that all might understand. The plan of action laid down herein has deduced from the conclusions of philosophy. It has been thoroughly tested and bears the supreme test of practical experiment. It works. And if you wish to know how the conclusions were arrived at, read the writings of the authors that I mentioned above. Read this book and do exactly what it tells you to do. And okay, that was the preface. And I did say that this is not a book to read just once. I have had to read this book many, many, many times. And it's like you grow as you read it. Every time you read it, you are going to have a slightly different perception. You are going to pick up more golden nuggets each time. It's amazing how that works. Okay, chapter 1, The Right to be Rich. Bob Proctor wrote an entire book named Born Rich just from this chapter. Okay, this book is over 100 years old. Okay, so what that means is there is no copyright issues. You can take whatever you want from this book and create your own. Rhonda Burns, who created The Secret, that is exactly what she did. That is where The Secret came from. It stemmed from this book. Okay, how cool is that? Think and Grow Rich has stemmed from this book. Look at how tiny this book is. Not even 100 pages. Okay? This is where all of those theories came from. And it is a scientific fact. It is with mathematical certainty. Okay, so chapter 1. Whatever may be said in praise of poverty, the fact remains that it is not possible to live a really complete or successful life unless one is rich. No man can rise to his greatest possible height in talent or soul development unless he has plenty of money. For to unfold the soul and to develop talent, he must have many things to use, and he cannot have these things unless he has money to buy them with. A man develops in mind, soul, and body by making use of things, and society is so organized that man must have money in order to become the possessor of things. Therefore, the basis of all advancement for man, meaning man and woman, must be the science of getting rich. The object of all life is development, and everything that lives has an inalienable right to all the development it is capable of attaining. Man's right to life means his right to have the free and unrestricted use of all the things which may be necessary to his fullest mental, spiritual, and physical unfoldment, or in other words, the right to be rich. So that's almost, I always think when I read that part of a butterfly, a cocoon opening up into a butterfly. It had room to grow yet. It had more potential in it. So, and if that species is no longer there, it will develop into another species. Cocoon, butterfly. See what I mean? Man's right. Oh, I read that. In this book, I shall not speak of riches in a figurative way. To be really rich does not mean to be satisfied or contented with a little. No man ought to be satisfied with a little if he is capable of using and enjoying more. The purpose of nature is the advancement and unfoldment of life, and every man should have all that can contribute to the power, elegance, beauty, and richness of life. To be content with less is sinful. I do want to state that in this book, everything that is said in this book does line up with the Bible and the laws of attraction. So if that means anything to you, okay. The man who owns all he wants for the living of all the life he is capable of living is rich. And no man who has not plenty of money can have all that he wants. Life has advanced so far and become so complex that even the most ordinary man or woman requires a great amount of wealth in order to live in a manner that even approaches completeness. Every person naturally wants to become all that they are capable of becoming. The desire to realize innate possibilities is inherent to our human nature. We cannot help wanting to be all that we can be. Success in life is becoming what you want to be. You can become what you want to be only by making use of things. And you can have the free use of things only as you become rich enough to buy them. To understand the science of getting rich is therefore the most essential of all knowledge. There is nothing wrong in wanting to get rich. The desire for riches is really the desire for a richer, fuller, and more abundant life. And that desire is praiseworthy. The man who does not desire to live more abundantly is abnormal. And so the man who does not desire to have money enough to buy all he wants is abnormal. There are three motives for which we live. We live for the body, we live for the mind, and we live for the soul. No one of these is better or holier than the other. All are alike desirable, and no one of the three, body, mind, or soul can live fully if either of the others is cut short of full life and expression. It is not right or noble to live only for the soul and deny the body or the mind. It is wrong to live for the intellect and deny the body or soul. We are all acquainted with the loathsome consequences of living for the body and denying both mind and soul. And we see that real life means the complete expression of all that man can give forth through body, mind, and soul. Whatever he can say, no man can be really happy or satisfied unless his body is living fully in every function. And unless the same is true of the mind and his soul, wherever there is unexpressed possibility or function not performed, there is unsatisfied desire. Desire is possibility seeking expression, or function seeking performance. Man cannot live fully in body without good food, comfortable clothing, and warm shelter, and without freedom from excessive toil. Rest and recreation are also necessary to his physical life. He cannot live fully in mind without books and the time to study them, without opportunity for travel and observation, or without intellectual companionship. To live fully in mind, he must have intellectual recreations and must surround himself with all the objects of art and beauty he is capable of using and appreciating. To live fully in the soul, man must have love, and love is denied expression by poverty. A man's highest happiness is found in the bestowal of benefits on those he loves. Love finds its most natural, spontaneous expression in giving. The man who has nothing to give cannot fill his place as a husband or father, as a citizen, or as a man. It is in the use of material things that a man finds full life for his body, develops his mind, and unfolds his soul. It is therefore of supreme importance to him that he should be rich. It is perfectly right that you should desire to be rich. If you are a normal man or woman, you cannot help but doing so. It is perfectly right that you should give your best attention to the science of getting rich, for it is the noblest and the most necessary of all studies. If you neglect this study, you are derelict in your duty to yourself, to God, and to humanity. For you can render to God and humanity no greater service than to make the most of yourself. Okay, so now I'm going to just go over a few things in chapter 1 and my thoughts and my perceptions. Okay, let's see. In this chapter, I think that Wattles is getting his readers to believe this, okay? You have to put everything else out of your mind and focus on this. And if your perceptions are not as they should be, according to this book, then that's not going to work either. So if all we had to do is change our perspective about things, did all the things for the right reasons, as this book says, in a certain way, thinking in a certain way, acting in a certain way, then that's not going to work either. We have to do things for the right reasons, okay? So if it takes just a little piece of changing your perception about a supposed belief, and you got to ask yourself, especially when it comes to this book, how do you know what you believe is really true? Think about that. We just take things as people tell us, and we just believe them, especially our parents, our caregivers, our teachers. We usually have the utmost respect, and of course we're going to listen to whatever they say. And we have to as children, right? But when we grow, and kids are not able to truly think for themselves and question everything until they're like 7 or 8 years old. Now, one interesting thing, when Wattles wrote this book, there was no internet. Look at what we have now. I mean, we have the world of knowledge at our fingertips. Look at artificial intelligence now. I mean, you can ask it anything. It is way better than asking Google. It is way more in detail, and you can actually continue to carry on a conversation with the robot. I mean, the world has advanced so much, and we have to advance with it. Things have changed dramatically in our world. Nothing is as it was 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years ago. Things are so different. And if we're stuck in our old paradigm with our own limiting beliefs, you are never going to get any farther. We need to open our mind. A mind is like a parachute. Once you open it, it's like you can get all this information. You close it, you're going down. You're going down. It's not going to hold anything. So if, for instance, a person could just change their perspective while reading this book, it's going to make a dramatic difference. And then when you're done reading the book, go check out the information yourself. Do the research. Find out what's true. Question everything. Absolutely. I question everything. I'm a pain in the ass because I do question everything, because my parents weren't, they're just regular people working, just trying to make a living and raise their kids, and whatever they believed through their years, they passed on to us. So how did they know any of that was true? Do you know what I'm saying? It's really kind of eye-opening, and just being aware that not everything is as it seems. Not at all. You know how everybody has labels for people? Like myself, I'm a network marketer. I have a label, and people stay away from me because of that label, because of what they believe that I do. But they don't know, do they? They don't know what I do. It's just like, whatever your job is, would I be able to go in and know what you do? Would I know that that is right, or would I check that out? Do you know what I'm saying? We just cannot believe everything at face value. Nothing is as it appears. And we have choices, especially with our perception. If you have a perception about somebody, well, okay, you're at the gas station getting gas, and this chick rolls up in this really hot sports car, right? What is your first thought? Your first thought, you are either putting a label on her. She's either daddy's girl, or she's got a sugar daddy, or she's in the oldest profession in the world, right? Want something, you're going to come up with a label for her. And that's what you believe. Yet you may not know anything about her. Maybe she worked her ass off and bought that car herself. Do you know what I'm saying? So just keep that in mind when reading this book. And we have the choice to have the perception, whatever we want. And it doesn't matter if you call your source God or Allah or Buddha or whatever. It doesn't matter. It's still your source. Okay? So that's the point I'm trying to get across. And I do believe Wattles was setting us up to get us to believe that everything I say when I read this book is absolutely possible. There's a whole procession of people from the book Think and Grow Rich, which was stemmed from this little tiny book. This book was written 27 years prior to Think and Grow Rich. Okay? Rhonda Burns wrote The Secret from this book. 2008, I believe she made over $300 million by taking something that was already created and made it her own. And she changed millions of lives. Millions of lives. My life continues to change for the better because of this book and my mentors and teaching me the certain way. And it's teaching me to act in the certain way. It's not enough to just be rich with money. What does rich mean to you? What does that mean? To me, it's, happiness and joy and having all your needs met, and having all your family's needs met, having all your friends' needs met. We have to be out for humanity. not just ourselves. So think about this. If you were growing up and you were always told, money don't grow on trees, money just brings evil, and rich people are bad. If you have that perception of money, money is never going to come to you. It's not the law of attraction will not allow it. If you think lack of, the laws of attraction, laws of the universe are going to give you exactly what your thoughts are. Exactly what they are. So if you are struggling to pay an electric bill or put groceries on the table, the more you think about that, the more you stress over that, it is not going to happen. You are pushing it farther away from you. We have to think in abundance. And the world is full of abundance. There is so much. There is enough for everyone, even the foothills, the gold. If we ran out of gold, more would be created from the formless substance. So I am so excited to get into more of this now that, I've had 2 book clubs. Plus I went through an accountability course where I had to read each chapter and go live on Facebook. Back when I first read it, oh my gosh. Yeah. You know what? I should get rid of all my old videos because I have grown so much since then, and I've got a whole new perception and perspective on life. And if we can choose how we want to see things, and I'm going to really get deep into this a little later. I don't want to skip ahead of myself, but every Tuesday night, this is what I'm going to do. So next week, chapter 2. If you were here, thank you so much for watching. And I hope to see you again next week. And if I have not gifted this book to you, please reach out and I'll get it to you immediately. And read along with me, because this, I'm telling you, is going to change your life. For the better, I promise. It's so exciting. All right, I'm out of here. Bye, guys.